Hello and welcome back. 10 live albums I'll never part with. I'm not going to show you something unusual or you all have these albums, probably all of them and different pressings. But I wanted to show you what I've got, what I've settled with after all these years. And which ones I find the best sounding ones, right? In case you're, wondering to get a different copy or trying to find something better sounding than what you got, right? This is not a ranking. They're random albums. I just picked 10 from my collection, but they are indeed very popular, right? So before we get on with it, don't forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up if you like the video, and most importantly, leave your comments, right? And let me know the ones you've got and what's your opinion about what they sound like. Without further ado, Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. This is one of my favorite live albums. I'm not a die-hard Bob Seger fan, but I also don't think that he's what is usually called the poor man's Bruce Springsteen. Bob Seger in the 70s put out some fantastic albums, right? And this one, this live album has absolutely no filler, right? It's all rock and roll, it's all blues. He's supported by a great band, and you play through and enjoy it, right? It's fantastic. Right? The good thing about this album is that for some reason it is not very expensive. This is a European copy, right, which I've purchased for about, I don't know, something like £10 or so, right? It's obviously a gatefold because this is a double live album, right, with lots of pictures, and it's on the Capitol label, right? So probably the original US might sound better. I don't know. I never heard the original American, but this one is good enough, and I never felt, the need to upgrade or the need to find a better copy. This sounds just fantastic, right? I don't really like much his studio albums, but the 70s are okay with me. Strongly recommended. Next one, Mr. Peter Gabriel, Plays Life, right? There are many incarnations of these albums, right, over the years. You've got all the originals, but you've got the classic records, later remasters on 45 RPM and whatnot, right? The period of Peter Gabriel's output that I prefer. After the mid-80s, let's say after the So album, I just started to become sort of a little bit weary of his output. But anyway, that's just me, right? Don't spend a lot of money on these albums, right? The first pressing, the UK, right, sounds great, right? And I've also got the West German copy, right, which is fantastic as well, and even a European pressing, right? And I didn't pay much for any of them, right? I'm sure that, or I guess that the Classic Records album sounds better and is probably more detailed, but the prices it goes for nowadays is absolutely outrageous. They've gone through the roof, and I find that this is good enough, right? Surprisingly, I prefer the West German, right? The UK is more detailed and certainly closer to the master tapes, I suppose. But I find it a tad bright at places. This is it. Yes, this is the UK, right? Whereas the West German has a wonderful low end, and it is very, very dynamic, and it, you know, carries you through. It's punchy, and I love the way it sounds. Like with most of these West German presses, you know, they're fun to listen to, and the good thing about them, well, if you live in Europe, the good thing about them is that you get them for very little money, and also, but that's just aesthetics, right? I prefer the original label, right? The Charisma label, right? The German and the European versions come with this label. If you want to buy the classic records or the 45 and spend hundreds on the album, I understand. Peter Gabriel is a genius, his music is loved worldwide, but I never felt, as I said, the need to upgrade any of these. And after 1986, I don't like what he became, right? But that's just me, you know, right? That's just a personal taste, right? Well, Van Morrison, right? This is a 2 live record in Los Angeles and London, summer 1973. It's Too Late to Stop Now. Of course, double album with lots of pictures and fantastic songs here. Fantastic songs, no filler. You get into the mystic, This Dreams of You, I Just Want to Make Love to You, Bring It On Home, Here Comes the Night, and whatnot. The band sounds fantastic, the atmosphere is incredible, and this is a very inexpensive album as well, right? This copy, this is a European copy. Oh no, this is the American copy, right? Okay, Californian, right? Okay, this is the American copy. It sounds very good, but I've heard other copies that sound just as good, right? If you like Van Morrison and you don't have this album, you're really to blame, right? Now let's on to another classic, right? This time is Supertramp, Paris, right? Another one. There are plenty of incarnations, right? You got the VHS, you got the DVD, you got a Blu-ray, you got the remaster versions, and so many other incarnations. Right? I think the original album is okay. Over the years, I had the original UK and this West German pressing. Sounds fantastic. Great sound stage, great detail, fantastic bass, fun to listen to, inexpensive, and I understand if you want the Blu-ray just for the, you know, to have the image other than the audio, but if you just want to listen to it, because to me, watching live concerts on DVD or Blu-ray, it's okay the first time you play them, but then I don't know. I just rather listen to the music, right, and forget about the image, right. This is in mint condition, the plentiful and the cheap, right, and you're bound to have a very good time with this, right. Now, an album that recently I found a better copy of. I'm talking about Genesis Classic, right? Seconds Out. I never liked the way these albums sounded. It always, to me, it sounded distant, like far away, and hard to distinguish the different instruments, and I always thought that it was not a very well-recorded album for some reason. I enjoyed it a lot because the magic is there, Steve Hackett is there, and I loved early Genesis, not so much after these albums. So for decades, I've settled with these West German pressing, which I thought it was, you know, the best sounding. Certainly I liked it more than than the UK, but I was never happy with it, right? Not even with the CD. But I think it was like 3 years ago, or maybe 2 years ago. I really can't remember. Well, I'll do this later. Abbey Road Studios in London did this half-speed mastering. I'll show you the. They come with these ogies, sort of like replicating what the Japanese do, right? And at first, I was not going to splurge for it, but after reading so many good comments about it, I decided to have a go. It comes from digital source, and I'm not a fan, as you know. I'm not a fan of buying records that have a digital origin. But for the price, I thought, and the album it was, I thought it was worth a try. This sounds really good. I don't care if it comes from a digital source. I don't care how they mastered it. I don't care what they do to it. This is what the album really should sound like. Great presence, great separation of instruments, absolutely dynamic. The drums here, Bill Bruford drums and Chester Thompson drums here are to die for. The voices are clear and it is so much fun. I think I played 2 or 3 times in a row, right? And I was happy because I thought that this is the way this album should have sounded like from the get-go. I don't know about the prices now because I think it's sold out and prices might have go funny. But in case they haven't, and in case you don't have this copy, just get one. This is the real one. Because for years, as I said, I listened to the West German, but I was even happier with some bootlegs I had, right? We all know, right? The Zurich bootleg and was the Zurich and what's the other one? The Southampton, right? Bootleg that sound fantastic, and it was the whole show, right? But I think Abbey Road has done justice to this album, and now you can enjoy the way it should have done it right from the start. Now, Mr. Joe Cocker, right? Joe Cocker was popular late 60s, early 70s. Then, the man had trouble with the drink, and for years he was in a hole, right? And people feared for his health, right? This live album, Mad Dogs and Englishmen, was released in 1972 or 1973. This is a UK first pressing, and get this album because this is what Joe Cocker was capable to do, right? Putting together a great band with Leon Russell, with Chris Staten, with Gene Gordon on drums, Bobby Kicks on tenor sax. There's no filler here. You get Hunky Tonk Woman, Cry Me a River, Bed on the Wire, Feeling All Right. She came in through the bathroom window, The Letter, etc., etc. Fantastic. Their inserts are also great. See, with the picture and the portrait, and there's the story of the recording, right? This is a UK first pressing. I never felt the need to upgrade to look for a different copy. It's not extremely well recorded. I've compared it to the CD, and I think there was a Mophie CD years back, but don't take my word for it. I'm not really sure about that. But for what it is, this is inexpensive, and you have a great time. Well, we're going to the big names now. Rolling Stones. Get your yo-yos out. Right? I like this album, as I suppose everyone does, right? My first copy was this one, was a West German copy. I was never happy with it. It sounded a bit muffled, and sort of like all the instruments, there's no separation, there's no, you just can hear the guitars and the drums and the bass are, in the distance and never sounded too good, right? But that was till I got this US first pressing, right? This sounds so much better, right? So much better. Now you can hear the concert the way you should hear, right? With all the instruments, really separated, a great rock and roll sound, and I know the album has been tweaked. I mean, they redubbed, right, some parts in the studio, but I mean, to me, the Stones never sounded so good. Jumpy Jack Flash, Carol, Midnight Rambler, Love in Vain, Sympathy for the Devil, Little Queenie, Honky Tonk Women. What's not to like here? Now, this one was in every household, in every friend's house in the 70s and 80s. Everyone had this album, but maybe they don't have the studio output, but they certainly did have the live album. I'm talking about Deep Purple, made in Japan, right? Not much to say about this album that you don't know, and you probably got several copies of. But just wanted to remind you that the UK first pressing was mastered by George Peckham, the famous British engineer, and it sounds gorgeous. And the good thing about it is that the same plates were used for the German copy, the Danish copy, and the Swedish copy. So if you get one of those first pressings that are not expensive, you get the Porky mastering, and you're done. They sound phenomenal. Right? Highway Star, Smoke on the Water, Strange Kind of Woman, etc. Right? A classic. Now, a difficult thing. The Who, Life at Leeds. People say, and critics say, that this is the best rock album, live rock album ever. I won't disagree. My thing with The Who is that I can't make fair comparisons, right, between pressings, because when I play The Who, I crank the music up and I get so carried away that I can't do any critical comparison. Right? The only thing I can tell you about The Who is that you got to listen to these albums on vinyl. There's a big difference between the vinyl and the CDs, and just play them loud and enjoy yourself. This is the original US. It's got only 4 songs inside one and 2 songs inside 2. As you know, Young Man Blues, Substitute, Summertime Blues, and Shaking All Over, side A, side B, My Generation, and Magic Bus. Abbey Road has put out 2-3 years ago the complete concert, right? And I haven't purchased it because prices were really funny, and I must admit it, I've got great bootlegs, right, with the complete concert and the hard concert that took place at the same time. The Who. Right, and the last one for today, right, another classics, Dire Straits Live, Alchemy. There are so many incarnations of this, right? You got the vinyl, the cassette, you got CD, you got remastered CDs, you got the Blu-ray, you got DVD. There's so many incarnations of this. I find them most of them disposable, to tell you the truth. I would get the Blu-ray if you want to watch the whole concert and if you need to see the performance. But for listening's sake, I just buy the original album. I've heard, this is a UK first pressing, I've heard this one, the West German, and the 2 American ones, the original American, which was, if memory was mastered by Robert Ludwig, at least 3 sides of it, and one by Bill Kipper. It sounds huge, fantastic. The bass is incredible, but sometimes a bit over the top, right? And as an all-rounder, I prefer this one. The West German has a very good low end as well. It's smooth as silk. It sounds fantastic. And if you want to buy that one, I mean, all of them sound fantastic. This album has been recorded, has been properly recorded, right? And it's also a good album to test your equipment, to test your gear, right? Because the balance on this recording is absolutely perfect, right? So if you feel there is any imbalance on your equipment or on your cartridge or your loudspeakers and you want to taste them, this is the one to do it, right? It's perfectly centered, right? Drums in the middle, bass in the middle, the voice in the middle, and the rest of the instruments on both sides, on both, right and left speakers, and you can test what your gear sounds like. And when you upgrade your stylus or whatever, your preamp, you can use this one. If you don't want to use soul or blues albums, for rock, I will go to this one. Well, I won't go into the songs. I mean, Sultans of Swing, Romeo and Juliet, Two Young Lovers, Ten of Love, absolutely classic, right? Well, and that's all for today. I hope you like my selection, and let me know in the comments the ones you like, if you got these copies, if you got better sounding copies than this one, and we can sort of chit chat about it. Right? Thanks for listening, and take care.